So Michael, tell me about the race this weekend.
Well, we just finished in Abu Dhabi, as you know, and it's an iconic place that Redbull Air Race actually started there in the very beginning. So we've been going to Abu Dhabi. This was the 12th edition of the race, so it's amazing. The weather's always amazing. The people of Abu Dhabi are very willing to accept the race. So it's a fun place to start the year when it's snowing here in the United States and it's warm in Abu Dhabi. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you placed third there. That's very exciting. That's a great start to the year.
Yeah, I did. I placed third, and it was a hard week. They changed some of the rules on how you fly, so I was struggling with actually how to adapt to the new rules, but we had it figured out by about qualifying, and then on race day, sort of smooth and steady, it got us to the finals there, and the third place for us, just 2/10 behind the winner. We're happy with that, and we think it's a good way to start the year for sure.
Absolutely. So tell me about the rest of the year. Where are you going to be, and who's the competition to beat?
So I think the next race for us is going to be in Russia, and then we're also going to go to some other interesting places in the United States. We'll be back in Indianapolis, which has been fantastic, and then also Saudi Arabia later on in the year. And as I look at who the competition is going to be, clearly Matt Hall and Martin Janka, who were both with me in the finals to win the series last year, will be there again. And then I think you're going to find Kirby Chambliss will be strong. Mika Brajo will also be very strong, and there's people there that are right on the edge of really breaking in every single time. And there's a little bit of a magic formula. I don't know what it is, whether it's just sort of you've got the right mojo on the day or your team's behind you, but we can see that there's other teams that are very capable of doing really well every weekend.
Right. So tell me about Sammy Mason joining the Red Bull team. That's got to be exciting for him, certainly, and another American on the team?
Yeah, it's really nice. I think, you know, Kirby and I were sort of the two lone rangers in the Red Bull Air Race from the United States for quite a while, and then Kevin Coleman joined in the Challenger Series, which is really the series that's teaching them how to get into the master class in the future. And this year we had Sammy Mason, who's a really young guy from California, and if you know Sammy, he sort of grew up around airplanes, is a cool guy, sort of adds that California flair. And I think so when you look at the future of the Red Bull Air Race from the Americans, when you have Kevin Coleman and you've got Sammy Mason there, you've got two really capable aviators and two good guys.
Right. So tell me about your airplane. What do you learn from year to year, and what adjustments and what are you working on?
So I think like anything in racing, if you're standing still, you're going backwards, and that's clearly true in the Red Bull Air Race. And our team is thinking about how to improve our race plane really every year from every race, so we're always trying to make an improvement. We did some weight savings, we're doing aerodynamic savings, engine cooling savings, and then not to be outdone is really how the pilot's flying. And that's the thing, is you can make the fastest airplane in the world, but if you have a person that's flying it that's not really getting the maximum out of the airplane on race day, then you're going to be in the back of the pack no matter how fast your plane is.
What do you say to a young pilot who looks at what you do and is awed by it and would like to join that team someday? How do you get from low-time private pilot maybe to the point that you're flying at the level that you are?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people that email us and ask, how do I become a Red Bull Air Race pilot, or how do I fly air shows for a living? And the reality of it is nobody ever starts out there. And it's, for me, now I've been flying airplanes for 35 years and flying aerobatics for 25 or 30 of those years. And I want to tell people that want to do this, it's not going to come easy. It's a 10, 15-year commitment to get there. But it's so amazing. I'm so lucky to be flying in the venues that I am, that every day I still pinch myself. So if somebody says, hey, how do I become a Red Bull Air Race pilot? I say, listen, start at square one, and you're going to have to just keep on pressing for years and years and years, as it should be. It's not easy to get there, and the people that have persevered for a good amount of time are the ones that are going to get there. So in life, as in anything, if you're passionate and you push and you stay driven, you're going to attain the goal.
Yeah. So let's switch gears for a moment. Tell me about the flight school business. What's happening? We hear about the pilot shortage. Yep. We hear about flight schools having trouble keeping flight instructors because they're all getting sucked up by the airlines. What are you experiencing?
Yep. So we started Michael Goulian Aviation about a year ago, and it's a business that's really focusing on the Cirrus market and the clientele that are buying Cirruses and operating them for pleasure and business, but we have our ear to the grindstone of what's happening in the industry. And we can see now that the flight schools that are the strongest are getting the instructors that are going to help. And that's the thing, I think, if you have a flight school that is operating good equipment, you have a 141 program, it's very structured, the airlines are going to look at that as a plus when they go to hire pilots. So it is very difficult to get instructors and to get good instructors. We're doing a lot of training of our pilots in general in-house to make sure that our standards are great, and that's things that the airlines will look forward to hiring.
Right. Okay. Warren, did we?
Mike, first and third place, 0.2 of a second. How close is that? and tell talk.
It's really funny, when we first started in the Redbull Air Race, if you were 4 or 5 seconds apart, that was close, right? And I just came back from Abu Dhabi, and the first place to second place guy was 0.003 of a second, and me in a distant third was 0.2 of a second behind. And it's just one of those things, it's a half a G more here or a half a G less over there, and that gives you a half of an airplane length, which puts you from first to third. So this is a game now where to be on the podium on race day, you have to be almost perfect.
Okay. One other question for you. When you're doing this, do you get, does it feel like time is slowing down for you? You're so focused that things are happening at a different rate than you would normally expect?
Yep. As an athlete, you hear the term in the zone, right? And the people that have had amazing athletic days, whether it's a person throwing free throws or hitting golf balls or skiing or whatever it is, they have the feeling of time stood still, the sound went away, and I have had that occasionally both in the race and when I'm flying air shows, and it's just a culmination of things to make that happen. So for me, I go on the racetrack thinking one gate at a time. I don't think about them all. I think of, I'm going to go from here to here to here as sort of a connect the dots, paint by numbers kind of thing. And that helps me slow my breathing down, slow my thought process down to try to get as close as I can of being in the zone.